Hello, this is Nathan with Dwaken, and I've got a 1v1 commander game for you today. It's Goblins vs. Dragons, where I'll be using my Scion of the Ur-Dragon deck up against my guest, Kaylee's Krenko Mob Boss deck. I won the die roll, so I'll start us off. I play a Seaside Citadel tapped, which can tap for green, white, or blue. I then pass to Kaylee. On her turn, she plays a Mountain, an Impulsive Pilfer, a 1/1 goblin that when it dies, she creates a treasure token. It also has Encore for 4 mana. On my turn, I play a Vivid Grove tapped, which enters with 2 charge counters on it. I can tap it and remove a charge counter to add 1 mana of any color. On her turn, she plays a Quest for the Goblin Lord. Whenever a goblin enters the battlefield on her side, it gets a counter, and as long as there's 5 or more counters on it, her creatures get +2/+0. She swings at me for 1, taking me down to 29, and then passes back to me. On my turn, I play a Vivid Meadow tapped, with 2 charge counters on it. I then pass to Kaylee, who plays a Mountain and Goblin Diplomats, a 2/1 goblin that can tap to make each creature attack this turn if those creatures are able. Then she moves to combat, hits me for 1 again, taking me down to 28. On my turn, I untap, play a Vivid Marsh, which enters with 2 charge counters on it. With nothing else to do, I pass back to Kaylee. She plays a Mogg War Marshal, a 2 mana 1/1 goblin that whenever it enters or dies, creates a 1/1 goblin token, with echo cost of 2. This means her Quest for the Goblin Lord is now at 3 counters. Moving to combat, she decides to swing her 2/1 goblin and her 1/1 goblin at me, hitting me for 3, down to 25, and then passes. On my turn, I play a Mountain and Scion of the Ur-Dragon, my 4/4 dragon commander that has 2. Search your library for a dragon permanent and put it into the graveyard. If you do, Scion becomes a copy of that card until end of turn. With nothing else to do, I pass back to Kaylee. She decides not to pay the upkeep cost on Mogg War Marshal, letting it die, which means she gets to create another 1/1 goblin token. From here, she plays Brightstone Ritual, which creates a red mana for each goblin that is in play. This creates 4 red mana, and she uses that 4 red mana to cast her commander, Krenko Mob Boss, a 3/3 goblin, which has tap to create X 1/1 goblins, where X is the number of goblins you control. This means her Quest for the Goblin Lord is now at 5 counters, and all of her creatures get +2/+0. So, she swings her now 4/1 Goblin Diplomats at me. Not wanting to sacrifice my commander, I take the damage, going to 21. On my turn, I play a Haven of the Spirit Dragon, which can tap for colorless or add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, as long as that mana is used for a dragon creature spell. I then pay 5 for Scalelord Reckoner, a 4/4 dragon, which has whenever a dragon I control becomes the target of a spell or ability that an opponent controls, I can destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Choosing not to attack, I pass back to Kaylee. She drops a Mountain and plays Heraldic Banner, choosing red as her color. This means creatures that are red get +1/+0, and she can tap Heraldic Banner to add a red to her mana pool. Now all of her creatures get +3/+0. She moves to combat, deciding to swing her 2 goblin tokens, her Goblin Diplomats, and lastly, her Impulsive Pilfer. Since all of these are now getting +3/+0, I don't want to take a huge chunk of damage and chump block the Goblin Diplomats with my dragon. Before damage is dealt, she taps Krenko, creating 5 1/1 goblin tokens. I grab the fancy D20 and now we're able to show off how many goblins there are in style. Then damage is dealt, our creatures trade, and I take 12 from the other 3 goblins, going down to 9. On my turn, I play a Swamp and Unburial Rites for 5 mana, which returns my dragon from the graveyard to the battlefield. At this point, I'm pretty sure that Kaylee has it, but I want to see if I'm able to turn it around. On her turn, she plays a Mountain and Brash Taunter, a 1/1 indestructible goblin that has whenever it is dealt damage, it deals that much to target opponent. While Kaylee is deciding how she wants to kill me, I decide to tutor up a dragon for my commander to become a copy of. I find Ryusei, the Falling Star, a 5/5 dragon that has, when it dies, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for this, since it would have killed her entire board if it was able to die, but she's able to hit me before this is able to happen, dealing 38 since I choose not to block. So, goblins were able to outpace the dragons, racing them to the win. Dragons may have been able to pull it around if they could go just a little faster, but it was a great win nonetheless from Krinko. I hope you all enjoy it. Well, until next time, goodbye.